Have you ever noticed that you can change your scenery, your job, or even your partner, but the signature of your stress stays exactly the same? You move to a new city for a fresh start, and within 3 months, you've somehow managed to find the exact same toxic boss or the same unavailable friend. Most people think they are just cursed or that the world is out to get them. But what if I told you that you aren't a victim of bad luck? You are just a victim of a frequency you forgot to turn off. Today, we're talking about the frequency reset. This is the how of soul architecture. We're moving past the theory and into the actual process of unplugging from the old soul contracts that are keeping your life on a loop. I'm Amanda, the intuitive wife, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand why your life feels like noise and exactly how to find your clear signal again. Before we dive in, I want you to ask yourself, who is holding the remote control to your peace of mind right now? If you are waiting for a person or a situation to change before you can feel better, you are still tuned in to their station. You're literally broadcasting a signal that says, I'm available to be triggered. And today we are taking that remote back. We are going to learn how to change the station from the inside out so that the outside world has no choice but to follow suit. I want you to think of your energy like a radio. Every soul contract you've ever signed has its own specific frequency. If you signed a contract to master your own boundaries, you are likely tuned into a station that broadcasts guilt or obligation. As long as you are tuned into that station, you will attract people who match that frequency. And it's not something you're doing on purpose, but your radio is literally calling them in. The problem is the mental static. This is the noise of the human ego, the fear, the shoulds, and the memories of past failures. These are what keep you stuck between stations. When you have static on a radio, you can't hear the music, you just hear the noise. Does your life feel like noise right now? Are you exhausted by the constant clutter of other people's expectations? That's a sign you are tuned between the life you designed in the planning room and the life you are settling for now. To graduate, you have to manually reset your dial. You have to decide that you are no longer available for the struggle station. Now, before we get into the physical side of why your body actually craves this old stress, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had that aha moment where you realized a pattern was repeating, but you just didn't know how to stop it? Drop a yes in the comments if you are ready to unplug from that loop. So you might be asking, why is it so hard to just change a station? It's because of your frequency habit. When you've lived in a certain energy for years or even lifetimes, your body is stressed to expect that specific stress response. If you've always been the fixer or the empathic sponge, your nervous system actually feels uncomfortable when things are quiet. You might even find yourself looking for a problem to solve just because the peace feels wrong. This is why you might leave one difficult situation only to find a new one 2 weeks later. Your frequency is literally looking for a hook to attach to because the old loop feels familiar. To your ego, familiar feels safe, even if it's making you miserable. And resetting your frequency requires you to sit in the discomfort of the new. It requires you to tell your nervous system, I know we've always lived in chaos, but we're learning a new way to be safe now. You have to be willing to go through the withdrawal from the old drama before the new frequency can stabilize. What if the boredom you feel when things are peaceful isn't something that's wrong, but a sign that you're finally healing? This isn't just a mindset shift, it's a cellular one. In an earlier video, I talked about how trauma is printed on the body, and that print creates an energetic hook. When someone in your recurring cast triggers you, they are essentially tugging on that hook. They are sending a signal to your cells that says, remember this pain? Remember this fear? To reset your frequency, you have to manually unplug the hook. You have to look at the tightness in your chest or the weight on your shoulders and recognize it as a memory, not a current reality. When you say, this isn't my injury, this is a soul memory, you're pulling the plug. You are telling your nervous system that it no longer needs to keep that station active. You are literally evicting the old story from your DNA. And this is where your physical healing begins because your cells finally get the message that the war is over and they can go back to their neutral, healthy state. You're giving your body permission to stop fighting a ghost. And I had to do this too. I had to deal with my own respiratory issues. I was so used to inhaling the stress and the urgency of the people around me that my frequency was set to crisis mode. My body was constantly scanning the room for the next fire to put out, even when there was no emergency. My lungs were constricted, waiting for the smoke. It was like they were on standby. I had to do a manual frequency reset. I had to sit with my body and say, we're not in the house fire anymore. We're in 2026. I'm not responsible for the urgency of the people in this room. I had to move the dial away from empathic sponge and over to neutral observer. And here's the value you need to understand. When you do this, the people around you will notice. They might try to rehook you. They might get louder or more demanding or try to create a new emergency to get you to tune back into their station. It might not even be intentional. But if you stay in your new frequency, they eventually have to either change their broadcast or find a new audience. I can breathe better now because I stopped inhaling everyone else's air. I mean, currently I'm fighting a cold, so I can't really breathe that well. But overall, I can breathe better now because I have accepted that. Your peace is a boundary that the world eventually has to respect. But here's the layer that most people miss. Your frequency isn't just a vibe, it's a physical state. If you've spent lifetimes or decades tuned into the struggle station, your body has literally built a structure to support that stress. Your body is the hard drive where these soul contracts are stored. Think about your shoulders. In the world of soul architecture, the shoulders are where we carry the weight of the vows we took. The poverty vow, the sacrifice vow, the need to be strong for everyone else. And that chronic tightness you just can't seem to stretch away, that's the physical frequency of an old contract. Your neck and throat, they're the gatekeepers of your expression. If your frequency is set to silent or invisible, your throat will literally constrict. You might feel a permanent lump there, or find that you lose your voice whenever it's time to speak your truth. This isn't a medical mystery. It's your body executing the old blueprint. You cannot fully reset your frequency if your body is still holding on to the physical hook of the old one. And I'm not gonna lie, and I think we all know this, doing this manually is hard work. It takes a lot of focus to stay off of that old radio station when life is coming at you fast. We get tired, we get stressed, we get overwhelmed, and we default back to the old frequency because it's the easy path for the brain. This is why the soul frequency bundle is so essential. Its intention is not just for relaxation, it's meant to be a literal master reset button. When you feel yourself getting pulled back into an old loop, or you feel that familiar tightness in your chest or neck, the bundle helps you drop the static instantly. It's designed to bypass the logical, panicking brain and talk directly to your energy field. It helps you find that home base frequency. The pure, uncluttered signal you have in the planning room before the static of this life got in the way. It's the remote control that helps you change the station when you're too tired to do it yourself. You can find the link to the Soul Frequency Bundle in the description. And you might not realize this yet, but I am here to tell you, you have the authority to change your dial. You aren't stuck on the struggle station forever, but to truly move into the new life you designed, you have to clear the hard drive of your body. And in my upcoming masterclass, we aren't just going to talk about theory. We're going to go into the shoulders, the neck, and the throat to clear the specific physical anchors that are keeping you tethered to these old loops. We are going to do the actual energetic work to release the weight you've been carrying and open the gate of your expression in real time. So if you've been feeling that weight on your shoulders, that constriction in your chest, or the lump in your throat, this is your invitation to finally put it down. We are going to reset your frequency and your body together. I'm Amanda, the intuitive wife, and I will see you in the masterclass.